Hi everyone, and thanks for joining our Health and Social Care T-Level TMC live event. I'll shortly pass you over to Caroline and Dav, who are part of our Health and Social Care department at the Manchester College. They're going to be providing you with a showcase of our T-levels in health and science, as well as our Industry Excellence Academy for Health and Social Care. If you have any questions at any point throughout the evening, you can ask them in the live Q&A box, which is on the right of the screen, and we'll answer as many as we can at the end of the session. So with all that said, I'll now pass you over to Caroline and Dav to get the session started. Over to you.
Thank you. Welcome to this evening's event. My name's Dav, and I hope that we're able to give you the information about the courses that you're interested in tonight. I'm currently a health and social care tutor and the T-level lead alongside Caroline that you're going to meet shortly. And hopefully you're going to learn more about us as we go on. Now, here at the Manchester College, we've identified already what it takes to help you stand out from the crowd for your chosen career. The Industry Excellence Academy that you can see here on the screen has been developed from this. It will help you to develop the technical and professional skills for you to stand out for your future career. For your future career in health, social care and science. We're looking at the T-levels, health, healthcare, science, and how it sits within the Industry Excellence Academy here at the Manchester College. There are several different T-levels in many different subject areas, and we're going to explore today the T-level in health, healthcare science, and what our introduction to our T-level offer looks like, and some information on the career pathways. So let me introduce you to Caroline, who will talk more now about our offer. Caroline.
Thank you, Dav. My name's Caroline Edwards. I am a health and social care teacher with 18 years experience. And for the past few months, I've been one of the T-level roles, lead roles with my colleague Dav. This is the T-levels programme. It's a technical qualification. You will learn core subjects and you will do an occupational specialism. So we'll be looking at knowledge and understanding, concepts, theories that are relevant to the T-level. So in the occupational specialism, this will give you the knowledge and the skills and behaviours and the competence in specialism for skilled employment. Your core skills that are foundational to progression to occupational specialism are English, mathematics and ICT, and these are embedded where relevant. So this is the technical qualification summary. So you've got the core component and we've got content, assessment, grading and planned hours. So your core component is knowledge and understanding of concepts, theories, principles, and that's assessed through an external assessment. And then we've got the employer set projects where you'll have the ability to apply these core knowledge and skills. The grading is graded from A star to E, and the planned hours are 20 to 50% of your qualification time. The occupational specialisms and the knowledge and skills needed for threshold. You've got to be competent in an industry placement on one or more, depending on your qualification. This is assessed through a synoptic assessment, and this is graded through pass, merit and distinction. And this is 50 to 80% of your qualification time. Your synoptic assessment, you will be assessed on quite a few, but 2 or more you won't be assessed on.
Caroline, I think you've just gone on mute there.
Sorry, don't know what happened.
Okay, no worries.
Your T-level programmes. So you've got health, healthcare science and science. So your health and science are core, they're shared. So you've got your health core, you've got your occupational specialism that go with that. You've got your healthcare science core and your occupational specialism. And then you've got your science core, your occupational specialism again.
So as you can see here, each different pathway can take a different route, and the occupational specialisms that you could choose within each different route we'll be able to talk about and find out what you might be more interested in a little bit later on. Let me just go into a little bit more detail about the employer-led projects. So here at the Manchester College, as part of the Industry Excellence Academy, we have created partners with local NHS trusts. Manchester University Foundation Trust is one in particular. Now, the employer-led project is an opportunity for you to be assessed on the job. Typically, on a level 3 course, health and social care course, your work placement or your industry experience can be varied, but you are limited as to the access to clinical areas that you may have. As part of the T level and the partnerships that we have with the local NHS trusts, we would make sure that you are not only being assessed in the classroom, but also on the job. So one example of this is the employer-led project, and it's a way of assessing those core skills in employment. Now, it's going to be different depending on which your pathway is and what your future job aspirations are. But one example might be, like in college, you'd be given a case study of maybe how to assess the needs of a patient. But on the industry placement, you will do a similar thing, but with a real service user. And this is for you to demonstrate professional skills on the job, which are so valuable in this industry. So you would be assessed by a current professional on a hospital ward or in a care home or wherever the setting might be for you. And they will give you feedback and advice on how you can improve those skills. So one example might be carrying out a news assessment. A news assessment being a national early warning score that you would carry out for a new patient. So this would involve you taking respiration rates, oxygen saturation levels, maybe their systolic blood pressures, their pulse rate, their temperature, maybe levels of consciousness or of new confusion. Each of these you would be able to plot a score on the system, which would then identify like levels of risk, that sort of thing. So these would all be agreed between the employer, wherever your industry placement is, and you and what you need at that time. But it's a brand new way of assessing the workplace skills that are only available on the T level. So part of the progression after a T level, everybody is interested in, and is what is it the same as, or what is it equivalent of? And that table there just gives you an overview of the sort of stages that your T level grade would be an equivalent of. So on the left hand side there, you've got the UCAS points. That's what the universities are interested in. Now, just as a guide, between sort of 104 and 112 points, so around a merit, would be what the sort of minimum is at the moment to go to, say, Manchester Metropolitan University to become a nurse. So to do nursing, you would need to achieve a merit on your T level. That's equivalent to 3 sort of grade Bs at A level. But the actual sort of grading of your T level is a little bit more complicated than that, but you'll learn that as you progress through the course. So the next sort of slide that I'd like to show you, it's actually a video. This is a video of Majida at Harper Hay at one of our campuses, and it's just a short video to show you some of the resources that you would use on the T level.
Hi, I'm Majida. I'm one of the tutors at the Harper Hay campus, and I teach health and social care. We're going to give you a tour of some of our facilities. Some of the facilities we have at the campus are things like the hospital bed, the wheelchair, the X-ray machine. The students really benefit from this as they can use this equipment for role play, and it also gives them an insight as to what equipment is available within any health and social care environment.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm the department team leader. for health and social care here at Northern and at Openshaw. Today I'd like to show you around the practical space we have at Northern and some of the equipment that you'll be using. In our practical space, you'll be able to use our high quality equipment through simulated role plays and simulated working environments that will help you develop your skills such as manual handling and caring for service users that you can take directly into the workplace and your work placement. You'll also be doing practical assessments on serving and preparing healthy drinks and snacks for service users using our kitchen equipment and our assisted cutlery and crockery. As a health and social care student, you'll also have the opportunity to complete a one-day first aid in the workplace course. This will give you essential life-saving skills such as resuscitation and CPR, use of the AED, choking, and other basic first aid requirements that you can take into your workplace. So you've just had a brief tour of the practical space we have at Northern that will give you skills to enhance your curriculum and your work experience. We look forward to seeing your application. Hopefully see you soon. Thank you.
Okay, let's look now in a little bit more detail about some of the different pathways that you could choose at the Manchester College. So the first one that I'd like to speak about is the T-level 3 in health. Now, one of the occupational specialisms under health is the care of children and young people. There are several others, and we're going to ask you a little bit later about which ones are most interested to you at the moment. So this focuses on essential knowledge and skills, very similar to every pathway. Things like how the industry works, core scientific concepts, regulations, managing information, all the sorts of basics depending on any job that you would cover in health and social care industry. But the specialist knowledge and skills for this pathway are highlighted there at the bottom, assisting with clinical tasks and treatment for children and young people. So this would be an ideal course for someone who wants to perhaps become a nurse or a play therapist or something like that, but specifically with young people. So a pediatric nurse, for example. So one example of assisting with clinical tasks might be using play or distraction techniques while the medical professionals or the doctors and nurses are applying care or treatments to a young person to try and distract them from the potential discomfort of that specific treatment. Maybe on how to identify levels of risk and observation levels of a learner and how to record them in a nurse triage system, something like that. It also is going to be about providing care and support to children before, during and after, and also to include that support for parents and families. So you're going to use and learn about principles of safeguarding to support the families and the children or young people whilst they are under the care of maybe a hospital. You're going to be learning how to write and why you should write action plans and care plans, what they are and the benefits to the young person and the families that they can have. Thank you. Over to Caroline for assisting healthcare science.
Okay, this is all about assisting healthcare science. So it's a level 3 technical qualification in healthcare science, and it'll give you the knowledge, skills and behaviours that you need to progress into skilled employment, or if you choose to train higher education or study in the health and science sector. So every T level will include an industry placement with an employer focused on developing your practical and technical skills for your chosen future occupation. These will last a minimum of 315 hours, and that's approximately 45 days, but it can last longer. So your specialist knowledge and skills. So you'll be assisting with an individual's overall care and needs to ensure comfort and well-being. You'll assist registered health professionals with clinical or therapeutic tasks and interventions, and you'll undertake a range of physiological measurements. So health and science route, it's a 2-year course, and these level 3 technical qualifications will provide you with the knowledge, skills and behaviours needed to progress into skilled employment or higher technical training or study in the health and science sector. So it's whatever you prefer. The core knowledge and understanding will be assessed through an examination and core skills through a practical employer set project. Now, Dav's spoken a little bit about that previously. In addition to this, maths, English and general digital skills will be integrated within the qualification in occupationally relevant contexts. So the content for the level 3 T levels, what does it look like? So you'll cover the following areas. So the core working within health and science sector, health. So you look at safety and environmental regulations in the health and science sector. So managing information and data within the health and science sector, good scientific and clinical practice. You look at core science subjects, and the breadth of content will ensure you can apply your skills for different purposes and in different roles. And these are known as transferable skills. So I think this is where my colleague Dav will tell you a little bit more about the T-level course.
Hello and welcome to the Manchester College Health and Social Care Department. My name is Dav and I'm one of the tutors at Nichols campus in Ardwick. Have you ever wondered why some people are left-handed but most are right? Have you ever wondered how your brain controls your heart rate or why this is so important to life? We explore questions like these on our courses. I teach from entry level through to level 3. I'm also one of the leads for the brand new T levels in health and healthcare science that we will be providing from September 2021. There will be a transition to T levels this September at level 2 for those of you interested in a technical qualification to boost your future employment chances. My specialism is caring for children and young people, behaviour management and the psychology behind building professional, supportive relationships with service users. I have worked in care homes and residential schools for children and young people with learning difficulties and specific behavioural needs. You can expect to learn from me how the principal perspectives of psychology and many other subjects can be applied across different sectors of the industry to offer you a solid foundation in developing your own professional voice, supported by theoretical knowledge, underpinned by legislation, to give you the confidence to work in this vast sector in an area that you really enjoy. Every level 2 and level 3 learner will be supported in some form of work experience placement, ranging from 30 to 315 hours, depending on the qualification. This year, I have placed learners at the MRI, supporting nurses and midwives on hospital wards, in cardiac specialist units, care homes and many social care charities. My learners have progressed to university on courses such as nursing and social work. I was very proud to have recently bumped into one of my past learners at the MRI, who is currently a student nurse there. Interested? Then apply now. It's always a little strange presenting whilst there's a video of yourself there, so that'll be a bit of humour for you. So why should you choose a profession in health and social care? Well, if you think that you want a career in which you help people, then come to health and social care. If you care for other people, we need you in this sector. There is a huge demand for professionals at the moment in this huge, very vast sector. As you can see there are currently 40,000 nursing vacancies in England alone. That's just one example of the space that there will be for you in the future workforce. The government has committed to recruit and train 50,000 more nurses by 2025. But we know in the industry that that's not enough people. We're losing many nurses at the top end of their career because they're retiring, and we're not filling the gap lower down. So that's why we need you to choose a profession in health and social care. It's reported that there are over 29 million nurses and midwives worldwide. So it is an international career. If you train and become a nurse or several other professions that we'll discuss in a moment in the UK, you become very valuable for your future if you want to move countries, for example. It says there that the average salaries for health and social care related occupations is at just under £30,000. For a newly qualified Band 5 nurse, the average is about £24,000. So after 3 years at university, you could be earning £24,000. Now, in real terms, what does that mean? What do you get in your pocket? Well, I looked it up today, and that would be anywhere between £1,500 and £1,800 a month that you will get after graduating from university. So it is a good profession with a secure future, because there's lots of space for you to get a job. Many people choose a career they really, really want, and then they can't get a job. Okay, so if you want to care and look after people, this is a really valuable profession for you to choose. So why should you choose it with us? Well, at the Manchester College Industry Excellence Academy, if you choose to join us for a T-level, you will have access to a brand new bespoke training wing. We're currently building a hospital ward, a simulated hospital ward at our Openshaw campus, and there's also a care home simulated environment in there. We also have direct links to a possible employer. We co-teach and we link with local universities, and we would visit those as part of our course to see the resources and the direction that you might be wanting to go in. But you could end up having your placement at a future employer. For example, if you go to the MRI or wherever it might be, they may be who want you in the future, and you can demonstrate and stand yourself apart from other people because you'll already have that experience on your CV. So here are some examples of the jobs that you could have in health and social care through our qualifications. There's quite a few on there, but I just want to sort of focus a little bit on the evidence and experience that you would have if you choose a T-level with us. So many of the other level 3 learners that are studying health and social care, but that aren't and don't choose a T-level, will also have the same potential progression routes that Caroline's going to speak about in a moment. But with a T-level and your industry placement, you're not only having the opportunity to carry out professional skills and expand your knowledge and experience in the workplace, but you're also going to be able to have these simulation and additional qualifications that we're going to offer that could lead to these jobs. So most of the jobs on there you've probably heard of: managers, care workers, nurse assistants, care workers, midwife, nurse, that sort of thing. At the bottom on the left there, a nursing associate. It's a relatively new qualification that is on the way to becoming a nurse. So there's a gap currently between a healthcare or nursing assistant, a healthcare support worker, and a qualified registered nurse. Now, for some learners who perhaps don't feel as confident or don't feel like they have the academic abilities to become a registered nurse, then you could complete a T-level. Maybe you don't have the options of university that you want, but you could go on to becoming a nursing associate. So that is a band 4, whereas a registered nurse is band 5. Okay, and I'll hand over to Caroline for some other options for your progression after a T-level.
Okay, so what are your progression routes after a T-level? So we currently have a transitional level 2. So if you don't quite get the grades in your GCSE to go on level 3, which is probably something we'll talk about later, you can go on our transitional level 2 with the intention of progressing onto the level 3. Now, from the level 3 T-levels, you can do an HNC, which is a Higher National Certificate level 4. And then you can progress onto an HND, which is a higher national diploma, level 5. If you wanted to go to university, you can do a nursing degree, you can do a social work degree, or you can go into various roles in the health and social care sector. And then you can go on to further work-based learning if that's what you choose to do. So all these are good options for you, but it depends on what your career aspirations are. But there's lots to explore. Okay, so which T-level specialism interests you the most currently? So are you interested in the care of children and young people, or assisting healthcare science? Would you like to support the nursing adult team? Would you like to support a midwifery team? Would you like to support a mental health team? There's lots of things to explore and lots of scope. But what we'd like you to do is put it in the chat box, what you think you would like to do, what interests you currently now. So if you could put that in the chat box and we can have a look at that later. And following this presentation, there is a short survey for you to complete, which will give us an idea of what kind of specialism you would like to go on to. So I think, are we handing back for questions? Is it questions and answer? Yeah. So I'll just hand you back to our marketing team and they can do the Q&A, the question and answer. Thank you.
Hi everyone, if you just want to submit any questions that you've got in the box to the right. In the meantime, I'm just going to ask some questions that we commonly get asked around T-levels. So I'm just wondering, Caroline, what are the entry requirements for this course?
The entry requirements for level 3 is you've got to have 5 GCSEs. They must include English, maths and science at grade 4 and higher. This is because of the high expectations of academic ability that go along with the vocational skills. And there are only a limited number of places on the T-level. So the higher grades you get, the better the chance of being accepted.
Okay, and what happens if you don't meet those entry requirements?
Well, if you don't meet the entry requirements, we've got lots of other different courses at the Manchester College that range from level 1, level 2 to level 3. You might also need to resit your GCSE English and Maths alongside the study programme if you go on one of them courses. There is like we said earlier, there is a level 2 transitional course. If you're really keen on doing the T-level, level 3, you can go on our level 2 transitional course, and that we have tutors will train you to, especially for the T-level programme. And that's just if you're missing out on your grades by grade 3. Say you get a grade 3 in maths and English, then you can do the transitional course and you can do your maths and English alongside. Okay,
brilliant. And Dav, I'm wondering how much time people spend in college versus on placement.
Right, yes. So as you can imagine, you can't go straight into a hospital ward without some sort of input at college first. So what would probably start to happen is you would start at college approximately 4 days a week, but that depends on whether or not you're also studying English or maths as well. And then hopefully you'd go on your placement to start with 1 day a week from around January of the first year. There's certain sort of competencies that we expect you to achieve that we would train you in before you then go out into industry. So you're prepared, you're safe, and you know how to look after yourself and the expectations from the employer. So then after that sort of period of 1 day a week, that hopefully if you develop your skills and your confidence on placement, that would progress to 2 days a week, depending on who you're working with, the employer, what your skills are. And we would be aiming to get you into a 1 week block placement as a minimum towards the end of the first year. Then as your skills and your knowledge from college work develop and your experience in placement, we'd be looking at moving that up and up and up through the second year. You would have regular weekly placements, maybe 1 or 2 days a week, leading towards maybe a 4 week block placement where you will really understand what it's like to do that job in health and social care for a prolonged period of time. When we've spoken to employers, they're really keen on finding students that can not just do a 1 day and then they're wiped out, but that can do can maintain that role and that maintain those values that we're trying to instill in the future workforce for a prolonged period. This is a full-time study course. Don't be fooled into thinking that you've got 3 days on timetable. You will be very busy with this. With the expectations on this course.
And bearing in mind the fact that it is a full-time study course, are there what are the exams going to be like on this course? Or will there be exams?
Yeah, there are exams. Yeah, so very similar to GCSEs, there's several different exam periods, and there's different types of assessment. Like I've already mentioned, the employer-led project, that's on site. But at the end of year 1, there are 2 external exams, a bit like GCSEs, about the core sort of knowledge around May or June time. And if you don't manage to do very well in those, you do get the option to resit them like a GCSE. OK, so think of it like that. They focus on that core knowledge. Think about the employer set project like I sort of introduced it. But think of it more of a way that typical professionals would be appraised at work. So even myself as a professional teacher and a professional care worker, we still have regular supervisions and regular appraisals. And that's kind of the way that it would look. Yes, there's an expectation for you to perform, but it's a supportive assessment that you'd get feedback of how to improve those skills that you will need in the future. And that might be on maybe how to use a hoist and a bed. It might be making a hospital bed, taking the blood pressure of a service user, anything like that. There's also the synoptic assessment that Caroline mentioned earlier, which is more of a broader assessment. So we could teach you legislation and law and then assess you on the law. But what we're not finding from that assessment is your broader knowledge, how you can apply that legislation and how that changes the way you behave in the workplace, how you can apply that legislation to maybe safeguarding, how you can apply that legislation to health and safety, how you can apply that legislation to the way you behave at work. So it's kind of how it brings all of those knowledge, all of that knowledge together in one place. So some of the assessment is like an exam, some of it is professional discussion with us, with current professionals. It's a brand new way of assessing on T levels compared to any other course that you will find, other than a university course. So yeah, that's kind of the big thing people want to know is what happens if it goes wrong. So you get the opportunity to resit these exams across the 2-year period. We do all the exam training, all of the professional discussions. We'd have dry runs of everything. We'll prepare you to the full so that you can perform to your academic potential.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks, Dav. And then just final question for you. What if somebody chooses a specialism and then they change their mind?
Right, so early on in the course, we'd just be looking for you to choose a core pathway, whether that was health or healthcare science. As the course develops, we would be looking for those specialisms. That's why it's important we know what you want to study so we can put the right course on. If you've committed to an occupational specialism and then you change your mind because you've been on placement working with children and you know that you don't want to do that, then you should see that as a positive, because instead of you going all the way through university and then deciding you really don't want to do it, we'll know earlier on. So as long as you have 100% committed towards the end of the second year, then there shouldn't be a problem. The problem will come when we start teaching the occupational specialist knowledge, and that is around about the start of the second year, but that can still give you opportunity to move around year 2. So at the beginning, we would be looking for the people who have got the best motivation for a route. But if you do change your mind, you would have to speak to the tutors of the course, so myself and Caroline and whoever else we involve, on a sort of individual basis, because we don't want you to panic and not sign up for a course, but equally, the earlier you know what you want through maybe a rotation of placements, maybe a 1 or 2 days experience in different areas, the better you are prepared and the more sort of motivated you will be on the course. So don't sign up to do adult nursing if your friend is signing up to do adult nursing, because it is a tough job. Okay, it is a very enjoyable job and very rewarding, as you can imagine, but don't sign up for something unless you are committed to do it. And the T-levels is the best route to these professions.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Dav. And just a reminder that anyone that wants to submit any questions, feel free to put in the Q&A. Don't be shy. Caroline, I know you and Dav have briefly touched on some of the kind of areas that you'll be covering, but what exactly kind of things will people be studying on this course?
Well, people will be studying things to do with health and the science sector, like health and safety and environmental regulations, like managing information and data, principles of good practice, good clinical practice, things like microbiology, immunology, anatomy and physiology. They'll be studying cells, structure of cells, tissues, large molecules, genetics. They'll also learn about topics specific to healthcare science, understanding healthcare science sector. There's just absolutely loads. They will be studying physics, providing person-centered care, infection prevention, which is so current, with COVID, about preventing infection, and just good scientific practice. There's an array of science modules that they can study. Genetics is really interesting. They study the DNA, all kinds of things. They're just a few.
So lots of practical skills there, and also knowledge in theory to get you really ready for industry, would you say?
Definitely. Yeah, so they'll learn the knowledge and hopefully they'll apply them knowledge and skills when they go and do the industry placement. Yeah, so like Gav said, they're learning all about health and safety, so that's linked to the Health and Safety Act, like a piece of really important legislation, all about managing data, managing information. It's really interesting. DNA is quite interesting, the shape of DNA and how it's formed. There's a lot. They'll find it really interesting if they take the science route.
Fantastic. And then final question from me. In terms of options after the course, I know you touched on a few there. So people could go on to do HNC, they could go to university, they could go into a job. What kind of routes do you see people going on to after this course?
They can go on to anything. They can do a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. They can do a social work degree. They can, if they took the science route, they could work in a lab in some capacity. It depends what their career aspiration is there. There's lots of different routes they can go down. They can go actually. I've had a student today who's come back to me for a reference because she's just secured a position as a health support worker in theatre, operating theatres in a local hospital, and that's something she was really passionate about and really wanted to do. So it depends on what your career aspiration is, where that's leaning towards, whether it's nursing, whether it's working in like the science industry in a lab, or just social work or mental health. All them. We just need to know what our potential students are interested in, and then, like Dav said, we can create then that we can plan for it. But we just need to know.
Well, we've invited people to take part in the SurveyMonkey survey on the Q&A comments there, just so people can indicate which occupational specialism they'd be most interested in. Yeah, I'll just thanks both for a fantastic presentation. I'll just pass over to Christian just to finish off.
That's great. Thank you, everyone. And thanks, Dav and Caroline, for all that information. And thank you, everyone, for attending this evening. We do have more school leaver events that are focused on T-levels and our Industry Excellence Academies taking place tonight and tomorrow night. So please visit our website, tmc.ac.uk/TMC Live to register for any other sessions. As I've just mentioned there, if you haven't yet indicated the occupational specialism you're most interested in studying during your T-level, please visit surveymonkey.com/r/health T-level, and again, as Lindsay says, that is in the Q&A box to the right hand side as well. If you'd like to watch any of our previous TMC Live sessions from October, you can do this on the catch-up sessions section of the TMC Live website, so do check that out as well. Applications for September 2021, including the T-levels you've been hearing about tonight, are now open. So if you'd like to apply to study at the #1 college in Greater Manchester, then please do visit our website, tmc.ac.uk, and you'll be able to search all the different courses, including these T-levels, on there as well. Alternatively, you can speak to someone about applying. Our applicant support team are running a drop-in session until 8 PM this evening. The session is on the calendar on the TMC Live website, and the link to the page is in the chat box as well, so head there to speak to one of the team. We also have some courses available to start from January 2021, so coming up very soon if you've already left school last September or if you're an adult. If you'd like more information, visit our website or speak to the team on 0161 674 1080. For learners with special educational needs and disabilities, our transition team can be contacted by emailing transitionteam@tmc.ac.uk. They're also running a live drop-in session right now until 7:30 this evening. So again, visit the website, the TMC Live website, to join that session. Lastly, we'd love to get your feedback on TMC Live in the session this evening. If you'd be happy to take part in a quick 5-minute survey and be in with a chance of winning one of 5 £20 Amazon vouchers, then please visit surveymonkey.com/r/TMC Live feedback. All of this information is available in the chat box. If it's not at the moment, it should be very shortly. So all that leaves me to say is thank you very much for joining us this evening. We hope you had a lovely evening, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you very much.